Yes. Mengumumkan ketibaan Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri Malaysia Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad diiringi Yang Amat Berbahagia Tun Dr. Siti Asma. Music please. Hold on your feet because it's going to be a long walk. And those of you who can sing along as well. Music up a little. Okay, thank you, photographers. Please vacate the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Our guest of honor, Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad. Assalamualaikum, salam sejahtera. Pembuka kata, lidah bicara. Izinkan saya mulakan acara. Semoga majlis disambut ceria. Ladies and gentlemen, from Petrosains KLCC Kuala Lumpur, the Third Age Media Association brings to you a conference titled Aging, Learning and Technology, Enriching Lives and Connecting Communities. Ladies and gentlemen, give ourselves a round of applause for being here on a Saturday afternoon. Now we can sing. Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri Malaysia Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, Yang Amat Berbahagia Tun Dr. Siti Asma, Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri Sung, Advisor, the Third Age Media Association, the President of the Third Age Media Association, Yang Berusaha Saudara Chia Sakwing, Yang Berbahagia Datuk Muslim Ayub, Pengurusi Jawatan Kuasa, penganjur program hari ini, dan tidak dilupakan Puan Fedora Zulkifli, CEO Petrosains KLCC, tuan rumah kita. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Peter Chong. I am the president of the University Third Age, University Era Ketiga, gerakan yang menyediakan peluang pembelajaran sepanjang hayat untuk warga era ketiga. Third Age University, Third Age Media. What is Third Age? Third Age is a period in our lives when we are no longer in full-time employment. With time in our hands, with a lifetime of experience up our sleeves, with love and passion in our hearts and soul. The senior citizens are not a burden on society. On the contrary, we can be a valuable asset to the nation's development and growth. And what better example than in the person of our Prime Minister himself. Majlis diteruskan dengan ucapan aluan daripada Presiden The Third Age Media Association. Tepukan yang gemuruh sekali kepada saudara Chia Takwin. Dipersilakan.
Thank you, Saudara Peter Chong. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. And first and foremost, I would like to welcome our beloved Prime Minister, Yang Amat Berhormat Dr. Tun Mahathir Mohamad, and also his beloved wife, Tun Siti Hasma. So let's all stand and give him a warm welcome, this couple. This is thank you. The man who saves Malaysia. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, we are indeed grateful that despite his super busy schedule, Tun has made time to be with us today. So thank you. We truly owe Tun a debt of gratitude. Like the old Malay pantun says, pisang emas di bawah belayar, masak sebiji di atas peti. Hutang emas boleh dibayar, hutang budi di bawah mati. So we really owe Tun a debt of gratitude that we cannot repay him in this lifetime. Thank you, Tun. Now the inspiration for today's team conference, Aging, Learning and Technology, Enriching Lives, Connecting Communities, came from our Prime Minister himself. Tun himself is a blogger, and he uses the social media widely and frequently in his work. It has been so effectively used that even a regime of 61 years that has been brought to its knees. Today we have a new government as a result. Yes, Tun is a man who speaks from his heart without fear or favor. Like just now what we hear from Frank Sinatra, for what is a man if not himself? To say the things he truly feels, and not one who kneels. Tun is the icon not only for the seniors, but also for all Malaysians, irrespective of their age. Yes, we seniors should never be afraid of using technology in our lives, not so much to overthrow a government, but to better ourselves. Learning should be a lifelong thing. We should not stop. We should only stop when our heart is stop beating. Today's conference is to show that seniors can also remain useful and relevant to the community and also to the nation, given the opportunity. Tun is the perfect example. In this context, I would like to appeal to Tun that the new government must give serious attention to the needs and issues affecting this fast-growing segment of the community. The population of those aged 60 and above is expected to reach 15% in 2020 and 20% in 2040. There must be a review on the policies to provide better social support system for this aging population. The new Malaysia must seriously consider a ministry for the aged, or at least a department or agency directly reporting to the Prime Minister's office. The needs and issue affecting seniors encompasses many ministries, and it makes good sense to have a dedicated person with the necessary resources to look after their interests. Malaysians have at least 15 years to live after retirement, and more of them will depend on their savings, pensions, and EPF contribution for their sustenance in later years. The new government must engage senior organizations and stakeholders when developing policies affecting seniors. Third Age Media Association, together with our partners like NESCOM, UPM, My Aging, U3A and others, would like to take the lead to engage the new government and present our proposal. The new administration must have the political will to make the changes. Preparation for the well-being of seniors must be made now so that the fast expanding group can live a healthy and active life post-retirement. This in turn will help reduce government expenditure in medical, transport and other facilities required by the elderly. This will be a good thing for the government, good for the people, good for the nation. As Abraham Lincoln's famous quote, "We want a government that is by the people, for the people, and to the people." In closing, I would like to thank the speakers of the conference, Yang Mulia Tengku Nasaria, Datuk Dr. Sun Teng Quay, Yang Mulia Tengku Azian, Datuk Nick Arena, and Professor Dr. Tan Mo Pin for sharing your expertise with us today. I would also like to thank the platinum sponsors and partners, KWAP, UEM, PHB, MCS, GM Klang, Wirasawa, Linus Malaysia, Sunway Medical Center. Thank you also to the F&B sponsors, O'Brien, Sun Molin, Nestle, Milo, Fitness Cereals, and Insect Scoop. It's a long list. Thank you also to all our conference partners, Petrosains, NESCOM, My Aging, UPM, the international students of UPM, Malaysian Canadian Business Council. My gratitude is also to our advisor, Tan Sri Datuk Dr. Sun Siu Hong. He, in many ways, is like Tun Mahathir, because he also carries a small little notebook and also a pen, his favorite pen. So I think it speaks a lot about why it's important to carry important message on this small little notebook. I understand that Tun even briefed his cabinet based on what he has written in this small little notebook. All right. Now, last but not least, I'd like to also thank my committee led by Dr. Muslim Ayub for their hard work in realizing the conference. And I also like to say a big thank you, of course, to Tun and Tun City, and all of you for your presence and support, without which none of this would be possible. So this conference will not be the only one. It will be the first of many to come. All right, and the Third Age Media actually is planning a dialogue with the Prime Minister, if possible, and this will be sometime in next year, and we hope he will accept our invitation. All right, so my message to seniors is to remember to always love people and not things. Love your family, love your friends, and sometimes even love your enemies. But most important of all is to love yourself. For all, these are things that actually last. So ribuan terima kasih Tun, and all praises, honor and glory to God. Jasamu dikenang selama-lamanya. We will always remember you and your sacrifices. Thank you, Tun.
Thank you, Saudara Chia, atas ucapan yang ringkas, padat, tapi manis. I would like to add on, sir. Perhaps we can start with our local councils, where councillors can be appointed, at least one, from amongst the Third Age community. And perhaps one or two senators from the Third Age community. No lack of talent. Dan saya sendiri rela berkorban. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan yang dihormati sekalian. Sekarang, tibalah masanya yang dinanti-nantikan. Sekarang, tibalah masanya untuk apek Cina berpantun. Tun, especially for you, from all of us, serangkap pantun. Pergi nilai, membeli jamu. jamu rasanya dari Tenggara. Tiada ternilai jasa dan baktimu kepada bangsa juga negara. We initiate yourself as Princess Indonesia. Bunga raya kembang berseri dari utara sampai selatan. Selamat datang Perdana Menteri. Tun dijemput memberi ucapan. Ya, kita punya teknologi, saya berselfie dengan Tun. Gambar dia lagi handsome. Stage is yours, sir.
Assalamualaikum. Salam sejahtera. Mr. Chia Tak Wing, founding president of Third Age Media Association, Tan Sri Datuk Sung Siu Pung, advisor of president of the Third Age Media Association, Datuk Muslim Ayub, editor of the senior magazine, Puan Fatimah Fedora Zulkifli, Chief Executive Officer of Petrosains, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, thank you very much for this invitation by Third Age Media Association of Kuala Lumpur, Selangor. For this invitation, I find that I am an exhibit. I'm not a member.
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah, maybe one day when I grow old. Well, I never knew there was such an association. It must be a very new association. And I suppose it is time that you have an association of third age people. Third age, I don't know when it begins. But getting old is something that is biological, physiological. Time is not always the measure of age. Some people age younger. Some people age when they are much older. But whatever the age they are in, one of the things that you should always remember is that if you don't use what you have, they begin to diminish and rot. So what do you have? I think all of us have muscles. They enable us to stand up, walk, climb stairs, and do a lot of other very physical things. But if you don't use your muscle, it begins to deteriorate, lose its strength, and you feel unwell. And when you feel unwell, you want to rest and sleep. And when you rest and sleep, the muscle is not used at all. Then, of course, as I said, if you don't use your muscle, it becomes very weak. Weak and weaker. If you don't use it, and you tend to go and sleep, because that is the inclination of all old people. So what do old people, what is it that old people should do? I think they shouldn't go and sleep. Many people feel weak and every effort seems to be very taxing. But if you don't use your muscle, you are going to weaken further. There are some people who upon retirement wants to retire. They want to do nothing. Of course, they must prepare for the next world, which where we all will go. But if you don't make use of the time, the opportunity given to you, then you will reach that destination earlier. It is very important that you keep the gift to you of a body and an ability to work. It is important that you should not just retire and then you will fade away very quickly. So I believe in working, and there is no limit to the age when you should work. Maybe you are in the third age, but that doesn't mean that you should only prepare for the next life. Of course, Muslims must do all the things that will gain them merit in the next world. But even if you want to do that, there is no reason why you can't take an interest in life. I must admit that I haven't retired yet. And the new age of retirement is 95. So all of us are very young. I'm only 93. 95 I'll retire. I promise. But throughout my life I have watched and studied the aging process. If you are lucky and you don't get some of those diseases that you can't cure, like cancer, for example, you have a good chance of living to a ripe old age. But you hasten the process if you don't make use of the body that you have. Making use meaning you still work, you still walk around, if possible jog. I'm not jogging anymore. I get breathless. So what I can do is I can work. So I continue to work, not because I like it, but because people force it on me. Immediately after I retired, after 2 weeks, some people came to see me. They were not happy with my successor, and they asked me, can you do something about it? So I started doing something which keeps me very active, of course. And that successor eventually gave up. And we have a second man to succeed the first man after me. Unfortunately, again, people came to see me, asking me, please do something. Now, first I tried to advise, but it doesn't work. Then I decided that I can't have this man as my leader, so I resigned. But people keep on asking me, please do something. So I did something. I formed a party, political party, to defeat my party. However, that's history. Not very old history, only a few months ago, when we won and took over the government. But the important thing is that you are active. You have to be active in politics. You have to be active. You have to be campaigning. Sometimes you have to go out and campaign at night. I go to Muar, Batu Pahat by car. Takes me 2.5 hours. And they ask me, please be the last to give your speech, which means at 12 o'clock. And And by the time I reach home, it is 2:30 in the morning. But somehow or other, I survive. That, you don't ask me why, because I don't know. But I think keeping active is very important. But it is not only the body, the muscle, but also your brain. If you don't use your brain, it tends to regress. Then the ability to think, to talk, to lecture, to speak out, to complain, that will go. Because the brain is no longer functioning. Because you, like the muscle, you don't use it. So I suppose it is good for old people to read, to write, and also to quarrel. Because that exercises your brain. Now, I had a big quarrel with the previous Prime Minister. So all the time my brain thinks on thinking about ways and means of changing the government. So when you keep on thinking, then the brain is used all the time. That means you will not lose the memory, which you often see old people forgetting things. They see you and they say, who is this? When they very well know who you are, but somehow or other the memory is not able to figure out the person. You see somebody familiar, and yet you cannot remember his name. I had that problem too, because I meet about a few thousand people every day, and I try to remember, but always I need this kind of reminder as to who I should address. It is Mr. Chia, Mr. Datuk Song, Datuk Muslim, and Puan Fatima. If you don't put it here, I will not be able to address you. I would have to say, hey, old people. But anyway, I'm glad that you have formed this association, and I hope that this association will keep you active. Find something of interest and put your hearts and minds to think about the thing that you are interested in. Of course, you don't get interested in young girls and things like that. But you know, some old people get the label of dirty old men. So put your minds to something more, more enlightening, more positive than thinking about things that you are beyond already. I don't know whether you have read the piece when I answered the press. They asked me about myself and all that, and I talked about both of us were born together, we grew up. Where must one die before the other? But that is the natural thing to happen. So today, before coming here, I had a haircut. Usually when I have a haircut and I don't put cream, the hair looks whiter than before. I need to have bright cream all the time. But today, after haircut, normally I would bathe, but I had no time to bathe this morning. So I'm without a proper set hair. Didn't comb my hair properly. But some people ask me, how is it that you come back 15 hours flight and then you go and chair the cabinet meeting? Well, the answer is that you sleep while you are traveling. But the most important thing when you feel tired is to have a warm bath. So I hope the association will promote active life. Active not only physically but also mentally. It is very important to keep on thinking, reading, writing, etc., or scolding, because then you exercise your brain, and anything that you exercise normally keeps itself in good shape, can function. Otherwise you become old and dependent upon others. I hope I will be there anytime. I don't know. But while you are still able to walk and think, use the faculties. This is what you are given, and make use of it until the very last moment. Then I think you will not have a short life. So I'm quite sure all people want to live to a ripe old age. But if you are like that and you cannot even function, you need help all the time, ripe old age is not very ripe. Or maybe it is overripe. So I would wish the association success. I know that there are many things that you can do. I get asked this question everywhere I go, even in England and in America. They ask, hey, how do you keep your health? I didn't keep my health. It's just a way of life. So I think the best reminder is always to keep active, and when you are active, both mentally and physically, I think you will live to a ripe old age if you don't suffer from some disease like cancer. In fact, this morning I visited a friend who's in ICU, and he is older than me by 1 year. He was a schoolmate, but first he's not so well. That's why I went to see him in the hospital. But when you are still well, please make use of your God-given body and mind. So I would like, am I supposed to declare this open or something? Anyway, thank you very much for giving me
So you remain on stage, please, as I invite Tan Sri Datuk Sung, Datuk Muslim, Mr. Chia, and Puan Fedora to join us on stage, please. For information, Tan Sri Datuk Sung is also 93. Alright. Now we will have a time where we present certificates of appreciation to the main sponsors of the program. Okay, are the certificates ready? Right, the first certificate of appreciation will be presented by Tun Chu Wirasawa Berhad. Receiving it is Tan Sri Datuk Sung Siu Hung, who is already on stage. Next up, Ray Seraya Residence. Receiving it is Datuk Mahmud Fauzi, COO. Next up, kumpulan wang persaraan, Datuk Wan Kamaluzaman bin Wan Ahmad. Next up will be GM Wholesale City Clan, receiving it Datuk Lim Seng Kok. the only lady in the group. From Linus Malaysia, Ms. Amanda Lagas. And finally, from Sunway Medical Center, Mr. Lau Bing Long. Okay, now this is the part where I would seek the cooperation of everybody because we need to take a group photo. So there's some arrangements to make. So if in the middle, from one to the move a little bit forward to this point, forward to this point, and then the recipients go to the sides and the back, fill up. And can I invite also our speakers, our 5 speakers, to be on the front here? All right. So here you have
We'll put them back. We'll put them back.
our distinguished guest of honor with the VVIPs, plus our sponsors and the 5 speakers. So those seated here, please lower your handphones and the cameraman cannot pick up the pictures. All right. Thank you very much. VVIPs, please remain on. The rest, please be seated. We have the committee of the Third Age Media. They are the ones who work hard, sir. They want to have a photo with you. Can you? Okay. So the committee of Third Age Media, please, your face on the stage. Okay, down here. Okay.